great to be presenting as part of this series of webinars. And as you mentioned, it's also a pleasure to write for CMSWire, which I have been doing for several years now. So thank you for inviting me to contribute with the spoken word as well as the written word as we sort of move through today. So we're going to talk today about driving brand loyalty through customer experiences. I want to start off by really talking about what do we think of as a customer experience these days, as we live in a digital world and we're interacting with companies through our mobile devices, through our desktops, laptops and phones, tablets and so forth. Really, we're finding that the vast majority of customers really want to be seeing some sort of rich media imagery or something as part of their customer experience. Really, everything is coming down to content, particularly as we are really restricted in face-to-face interactions at the moment. Content has become more and more important as more and more things are being done online. And we're really using that to deliver the experience. But are we delivering the right experience? Some of the research that we did at Nuxeo earlier in the year showed that there really is an expectation that people want that experience to be driven by rich media. People are looking for relevant photography that speaks to them. They're looking for videos that either entertain or inform or help them answer questions. And in fact, as you sort of go younger, the higher the expectation is. So generally, there tends to be sort of 50 to 70% of customers are really looking for some sort of visual interaction as part of their experience. And the better that is, the more on topic it is, the more relevant it is, the more value it is, the more it's driving that brand loyalty. But is what we're delivering good enough, or is it exceptional? I should think that most companies would like to say that what they're delivering is exceptional customer services and that their customers are really happy with it. And are we really leveraging our rich media assets that we have to drive that exceptional experience? Unfortunately, the answer is we're not really doing that good a job at it currently. This is recent research done by Forrester on the US customer experience. And as you can see, over the last 3 years, things are getting a little better. More people are saying that we're delivering good, but it's not a huge growth. It's sort of an incremental growth of people saying that we're delivering good experiences. Most people still think that the experiences they're getting online are just okay. Nobody is really saying that they're getting an exceptional experience. And I think we can change that. And I think we can change that by thinking about how we're actually delivering those rich media assets and the things that really engage our customers visually, as well as in terms of just the user interface, but actually how are we actually putting visuals together and delivering visuals. And to do that, we really need to develop a visual content strategy. We need to really think up front, what is it that engages our customers and how can we deliver that and building that brand experience and building that brand loyalty. So I believe there's 4 steps to do this. There's really centralizing the vision of what it is that you actually want to do with your visual content to deliver a good customer experience. There's then digitizing the process, using technology to actually help you do things at speed and at scale and make sure that you're delivering the right information at the right time on the right channel, given the right context for the customer. And then that can really help accelerate the speed to market of your both of your products and of your information and the way that you interact with the customers, and then pull that all together to really provide that exceptional customer experience and hopefully drive us more towards the right of the graph that Forrester put together. And hopefully, if companies really start thinking in terms of developing visual content strategies and pulling these pieces together, we can start seeing some activity under the exceptional customer experience, that we start moving away from just delivering an okay experience to delivering something that is really good for the customer. So let's take a look at each of these in turn. So centralizing the vision, I think one of the first things to think about in terms of centralizing the vision is actually thinking about how our customers perceive us. When we're working within a company, particularly large companies or an organization, we tend to think about the various functional silos or the functional departments that we work in, whether we're in marketing or sales or finance or, support or whatever. We tend to think about the things that we do as being self-contained, but they're not really. They're all part of a greater whole. And whenever a customer interacts with any person within an organization, or any website, or through an app, or through a search, or through social media. To them, it's all part of the same brand. And really, to really drive brand loyalty, that interaction needs to be consistent across each of those touch points. We're also moving away from the fact that we used to think of customer experience really being around marketing and sales and acquisition of customers. A lot of customer experience was really focused on attracting people's attention, getting them to engage, and then getting them interested in our products or services and buying that product and service. Tended to forget that on the right-hand side, probably the biggest impact on customer experience is actually somebody owning a product or using a service, and actually how the company serves them once they've actually purchased it. And some researchers found that if you address the own and serve side of things, where you're actually providing good experiences and support after purchase, that can drive up to an additional 9x in revenue over the initial purchase price through people either doing buying upsells, or buying additional services, or buying additional parts, or cross-selling other products. So driving brand loyalty can really drive exceptional increases in revenue. And to do that, we really have to think about the experience as a whole and take a holistic view of the way that we're interacting with the customer. So once you've sort of taken that step back and looked at things from a holistic point of view and figured out how you want things to flow through this infinite loop, one of the things you need to start to do is to actually start to ask yourself questions about how you want your content to interact with your customer, what it needs to mean with the customer. How are you going to use it to engage the customer across that infinite loop? So you have to start asking yourself some questions. If you are going to use rich media assets like photography and video, or even moving into things like AR and digital signage and so forth, what do you actually want those assets to do? Do you want them to showcase you and your products, or do you want them to showcase your customers? Do you want to show customers using your products? There is a large expectation, particularly among younger demographics, that they actually want to see examples of other people using those products. And that's, can really drive great brand loyalty and engagement as they actually start to feel part of a group or of a community, shared community using your products. Traditionally, marketing has been about showing how great we are and showing just our products. Now we're moving more towards showcasing how our customers use it and building community around it. And you can use a lot of your assets to do that. But we also want to create assets with a business need. There's no point in creating content and assets just for the sake of creating content and assets. Everything that we produce really should be helping drive a business need. And what business need do we want our assets to achieve? Are we looking to use it to engage prospects and lead to click through and lead capture, or are we looking at them to help educate and help our customers, make them more self-sufficient, build community? And how do we want our assets to reflect our brand? Brand loyalty comes back to, again, that consistency thing. What is our brand? How do we project our brand? Do we want to be photographic and realistic and show things, or are we more inspirational and abstract in what we're trying to communicate and build brand loyalty around? And then we have to think about where those assets are going to be used. Are we looking at things going global? If we're going to go global, do we want to use something that's generic and reusable? Or do we actually want to be playing up and engaging people on a regional and local level? And if we do want to do things regional, how localized do we want to be in terms of geography and the way that we actually put our information together? So these are sort of some of the things that we need to think about before we start looking at developing content and assets to help really engage customers and drive brand loyalty and make sure that that customer experience is relevant to them. Once we've answered those questions, one of the things we need to look at is how can we then do that at scale and at speed? How do we actually want to digitize the process? And as I said, this is really about taking the experience and being able to deliver it at scale and speed across an organization and across a geography. So one of the things we need to look at is, how many assets do we actually currently have? Where are they across an organization? How many of each type have we got? And are there new types of assets coming along that we need to accommodate? Are you looking at things like augmented reality, digital signage? I was talking to a consultant the other day who was showing me examples of a company that's starting to work with holograms. So, you know, in terms of delivering an experience. So you've got to start thinking about what do we have today? Where is it? How can we use it? And then also, what are we going to be looking at tomorrow, and how are we going to use that? And then what's in your assets? Are your assets just pictures? Do you have a taxonomy around how you talk about your assets? Very, very important when we're looking at driving loyalty and engagement is this idea of personalization and being able to deliver the right content to the right person at the right time on the right channel. And to do that, we need to know information not just about the customer, but information about the assets that we've got. There is, just to give an example from my past career, at one point when I worked for a large construction equipment manufacturer, we ended up delivering a picture of images of the equipment with snowplows on to a dealership in Saudi Arabia. Didn't really go down too well, and part of that was because the imagery didn't have the taxonomy associated with it as to what was in the picture and where it applied and how it was useful. It was not a customer experience. So part of that is also understanding where is the subject matter expertise within your company that can help you look at the things that you're delivering to your customer and make sure that you've got the right metadata and the right taxonomy applied, that you've got the right information applied, and that people can look at videos and images and understand what's in them and build the business need around those. And what do people want to use your... Sorry, you know, why do people want to use your assets? How can they find them? And can they use them when they find them? So can people, not just in your organization, but maybe if you've got outside agencies or dealerships or whatever, people outside your immediate control supplying or wanting to use your imagery to create assets that also apply to your brand, you know, particularly, like I said, if you've got like a dealership or something that actually wants to use your information, but their customers are not your direct customers, but you still want to maintain that brand consistency across that ecosystem. Can they find the right information? Can they use the right information? And I can say, what is the future vision? What use cases are you looking at? Are you looking at how your customers are actually accessing your information? Do you know why your customers actually interact with you as a brand? You know, are they coming to your website for 3 or 4 particular things? Are there new things on the horizon that they may be looking for? Are there new applications across the enterprise where maybe you can start using some of these images and video and so forth and delivering a better customer experience through that? You know, for instance, could your finance department start using some marketing stuff to put into their invoices that links to the product that the customer has, and make sure that you sending a consistent message to the customer about maybe new products or new services or things like that. So making sure that what you're delivering can also solve business issues. And as I mentioned, images are really way more than just a picture of something. There is a lot of information, a lot into your assets. You really need to look at unlocking your assets. And this is where things like applying artificial intelligence, machine learning can really help, where you can actually get into looking at what is in an image and pulling that information out. Really useful for if you're doing things like e-commerce, where you can start to actually identify related products in an image. So for example, this is from one of our apparel clients, and you know, they have 2 sorts of images: the just standard product image and the lifestyle image. Standard product image is probably taken just to take a picture of the shirt, but as you can see, there's also, you know, the belt and the trousers in there. So if that's on an e-commerce site, you maybe want to have links to those other related products, and maybe from a customer experience point of view, you actually want to show somebody wearing those clothes and using those clothes in that sort of community type environment that I was talking about earlier. So you go more to the lifestyle image, where you're looking at, you know, the clothes in action. You've also got the related products, maybe the sunglasses and the hat. Maybe you've got metadata around this, that this is, you know, a summer image to be used in a summer campaign. It's got sporting around it. Maybe you've got a celebrity in there, and you actually want to be able to identify who the celebrity is, do talent tagging link that maybe to the celebrity's contract to make sure that you're using it in the right market at the right time, and you've got your digital and talent rights management things all sorted out. So there's a lot of really useful business information locked away in your images that can actually help drive a lot of great customer experience by making sure, as I said, that you're delivering something that's relevant to the customer in a way that really resonates with the customer, be that I'm just looking for an image in a catalog, or it being a community lifestyle type imagery of the same product. So what all this really comes down to a lot is this ability to accelerate speed to market, or really connect the pieces of information that are across all those functional silos that I talked about earlier and pull them together. So by connecting your content to your business data, you can really develop a lot of information that can help with the customer and help, again, with a lot of cross-sell and upsell. So if you think about things like a standard image, you have your standard image metadata about technical information like, the exposure and where it's taken and the location and time. You may have AI, like I talked about just now, where you're sort of tagging who's the model, what are the relevant products, but then what you want to do is really look at linking that product to the product information, that information to the product information systems, like a product information management or a product lifecycle management tool, pulling that information in, pulling the product descriptions, so that maybe, and then linking that all the way through the digital lifecycle of the product, so that maybe somebody who is in a store is looking something up for a customer and can find out, the SKU of an item that's in an image. Somebody comes in, say, with a magazine photograph or they bring something up on their phone, and they can say, okay, this is this product, and somebody can say, yes, we know about that product. I know what the SKU is. I can go find out what colors it's available in, where it's available, when it's going to be on sale if it's not already on sale, things like that. So you can actually start to make your content and the content that you would deliver to a customer much more useful, both to you as an organization and useful to the customer, because it can drive that connection to the business systems and provide the data. And these are just sort of 7 touch points across the product lifecycle we at Nuxeo have really defined as a place where doing that, of connecting your rich media assets with your business systems and business data, can really drive speed to market. It can help make sure that the information that you deliver to your customers is much more timely and is much more accurate. So it can be things, as I said, like materials on maybe a shoe. Is a shoe available in a certain material? What's the pricing on that? And that can even be pulled into things like the design systems to make sure that you're putting together the right product specifications. You can do things like virtual prototyping, using rich media to do things like 3D prototyping and videos and things, and not have to rely on moving physical product around. And then that can feed into things like doing photo shoots or even virtual photo shoots where you do 3D modeling. There's a lot more of that going on, or looking into the archives of building campaigns around what's in the archives, using the metadata to be able to go back and look at what you've done before, pull that together, reuse it, get things to market, keep business continuity going in a situation like today, where you're not able to do things like photo shoots and video shoots that easily. You can actually go back and look at what you've got, extract the metadata, and again, pull campaigns together based on information and based on customer behavior too. By linking all these things together, you can drive better packaging, make sure it's got the right imagery for the right area, get it into local markets quicker by using localized derivations, making sure it's available, making sure that things are properly cropped. And again, as I talked about, really this goes all the way through to customer support and the customer engagement. We're making sure that you're connecting your imagery and your videos with the right product data and the right business data. Make sure that the people actually interacting with the customers have the right product knowledge, the up-to-date product knowledge, making sure that things like the website, the app, the call center, and stuff are all in sync and all pulling from the same source of information. So taking all these things together and really thinking about them holistically, like I mentioned up front, and connecting them really does help drive brand loyalty by making sure that you're delivering a really good customer experience based on not just good imagery, but imagery that's connected to the business systems, that's making sure that it's always up to date and in sync across every single touch point that a customer could potentially talk to your brand about, which really sort of brings us to the last part, which is providing that exceptional customer experience. As I mentioned up front, I think, if there's one thing you come away from this, I think I'd like it to be this, that we have to stop thinking in terms of functional silos when we're dealing with customers and delivering the customer's experience. Everything that they do is a reflection. Every touch point a customer has is a reflection of us as a brand, and we have to start thinking in terms of that holistic point of view. And to deliver the exceptional customer story, customer experience, what we really need to do is start telling our story and telling our story in a consistent way. We want to tell a story in a way that our assets are helping the customers. And that's whether we're answering questions the customers have got, we're driving transactions, and we're providing context for the way that we understand what a customer wants to do at any given point in that customer journey, and we're delivering information and experiences that understand that context. For me, customer experience really comes down to three things. It comes down to understanding the customer itself, delivering the right content, and understanding the context within which to deliver it. We also need to think about where our assets are being delivered and making sure, like I said, that we're providing that consistent experience across everything from web to mobile, digital signage. Are we looking at things like Internet of Things type screens, AR, VR, whatever's coming next? We've got to think about what we're doing and think about the way that we're delivering it, making sure that we're delivering a consistent story across all those different channels that makes that customer experience frictionless and seamless and helpful. And we have to understand where the customers are on their journey. I talked about providing context. Are the customers researching, buying, acquiring? Is it something they already own? And the services, if we do that right, we can build that sort of brand loyalty where people will start referring us, and referrals are probably the best marketing that you can get. And so when people are really happy, they will buy more and they will refer more, and they will do that if we understand what their needs are and where they are within that needs journey. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to building that brand loyalty through that exceptional customer experience, we really need to see that what we're providing to our customers at any given point during their journey is timely, relevant, and of value to the customer. So sort of pulling that all together, at Nuxeo, what we really like to sort of position is that, rich media and digital assets really are at the forefront of the modern customer experience. They're particularly in a digital environment. And that digital environment is actually also merging with the physical environment when you start thinking about the fact that things about Internet of Things, screens everywhere, the fact that everybody's walking around with their phones and interacting with their phones. Really, digital media is front and center of every single customer experience today. And really what you need to do is think about placing your digital asset management at the center of a digital supply chain. Build that digital supply chain to connect your content, your data, your assets across the organization, connect it with the business systems. And in doing that, you can start to deliver those exceptional customer experiences that we're all looking for. In terms of Nuxeo, Nuxeo is a content services platform that really helps you connect your product data and content sources, provides a collaborative environment and consistency of messaging, and helps drive that product lifecycle to really deliver higher customer engagement and retention and improve your consistent customer experiences, and reduce the time it takes for each step in the process. So really what we're about is increasing the value of your content to help you engage with your customers, build brand loyalty, deliver those exceptional customer experiences, and hopefully increase your revenue at the end of the day. And that's pretty much it.